Yo, what's up guys? So in this video, a hacker, also known as the developer for TDS, aka Little Disquit, aka Big Noob Biscuit, joins the game and gives me 400 million cash. Sorry, not 400 million, 400 billion cash. It is so much that I can't even begin to understand how much that actually is, because the most I've ever gotten was 1 million, right? So 400 billion is literally so many more times than that I'm just holy crap. I'm like Bill Gates times 10. That's literally so insane. But first thing first, I want to give a huge shout out to Biscuit. Go follow his Twitter. The link will also be in the comment section below. So Biscuit and I basically get into game and we decided to try slasher and gladiator only on the hardest single entrance map in TDS, dead ahead, right? And it was actually pretty sick because the earlier waves seemed super easy just because of how strong gladiators are against a really slowly moving target. Slasher, nah, I mean slasher or shredder, whatever. Shredder in my opinion is better, but I think slasher is a more fitting name just because of how weak it is. Honestly, shredder should be given to a tower that actually shreds instead of doing peanut damage. That's literally what the slasher does. It does peanut damage. So I don't think it deserves that shredder name, but gladiator right now I think is pretty good. I think it could still receive a buff just because of how, small the range is, and it's probably not even that strong, to be honest. It just looks super sick with the skin, with the pumpkin skin, and with the ability on it. It just looks like Super Saiyan. It just looks super cool. But it's definitely a lot better compared to before. It's better than it has ever been, which is a good thing. I mean, it only took us a year for the gladiator to be decent. It's funny because gladiator event was one of the hardest, literally one of the hardest events in TDS, probably the hardest event, I think, because the Halloween event you could duo it, right? Same with the previous year's Halloween event. You could duo this Halloween event and also the previous year's Halloween event. And the Christmas event, you could, I think the player limit was 4, but I think you could trio it, right? But the gladiator event, you couldn't do it with any less than 8 people, as far as I know. If I remember correctly, I think you couldn't do it with less than 8 people. And difficulty that I'm talking about is not the easy version of gladiator, the version that's so hard that you needed super good strat. And even with the super good strat, everyone had to micromanage their freezer, which right now is probably useless. But yeah, freezer micromanagement, and also just being overall really quick with your fingers. So it's definitely interesting that gladiator event, which was arguably the hardest event. We don't even need to talk about Area 51, guys. We don't, because it was literally so easy. Everyone could solo it pretty much. But yeah, gladiator event, despite being so hard, gave the people who triumphed it just some trash tower, the swordsman gladiator tower that used to have a DPS of freaking 25 or something. Something ridiculous like that. But right now I think it has a DPS of 80. The ability is a 30-second cooldown swing rate boost ability, which lasts for 15 seconds and boosts the swing rate by 35%. So I'm pretty sure the DPS goes well above 100. But again, you may think that that's OP, but it's actually not, because if you take a look at the stats table, the total range for that is only 6. 6 range is just pathetically small. So the DPS should be well over 100 even without the ability, at least in my opinion. But anyway, gladiator and shredder only. It was definitely an interesting game. And spoiler alert, we actually managed to go past wave 30, which is super interesting. I mean, sure, granted that we had 400 billion cash, but the thing about these towers is that we can only place them on the side of the road because their range is so bad, especially the gladiators. Shredder's range is really good with the ability, but without the ability it's still bad. You have to be right beside the road. So we couldn't really place as many, and not to mention you can't really stack them, or you can't really make their placement really space efficient, again because of the really small range. So you can't put a lot of gladiators side by side. For example, This is roughly what Deadhead looks like, right? So Gladiator is gonna be, you know, assuming the numbers are gladiators, right? Or slashers. Gladiators are gonna be on the side, whereas if I had a normal tower, I could have something like this, right? And these towers would be able to cover like this much range. So every time zombie were to like come over here, all these towers would be able to attack. But because a gladiator's range is so bad, like this one has a range of like this much, right? Or more like this much, whatever, right? So gladiator that's like over here will not be able to attack the zombie that's over here. So that's why I was super surprised that we actually made it past wave 30. Like we made it to, no, we actually died on wave 30, but either way, like it's super impressive that we were able to make it this far. And I think Gladiator being buffed is one of the biggest reasons. But I think again that Gladiator needs a bigger buff just to make sure that he's able to do better damage, because if he gets stunned, guys, like if he gets stunned, he's completely useless because the stun lasts for 5 seconds. I don't think there's a single zombie that would have a hard time running away from the Gladiator in 5 seconds, because Gladiator's range is only 6. That's like 6 studs worth, right? So that's very small. So I think every single zombie, even the smallest like heavy zombie, would be able to go past the Gladiator if the tower were to be stunned. So that DPS of 80 goes down to 0 if it's stunned, compared to other towers like Minigunner, for example. Golden Minigunner, DPS of 80 goes down to more like, I don't know, like 40 or 50, just because of its much bigger range. But yeah, this match was definitely very like interesting to say the least, and I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.